What's up, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to this week's show on the Purple People podcast. I put it in the show notes. We're back, baby. We've taken some weeks off. It's been pretty dead in Viking land, but we've got some stuff to talk about. This is episode 440, Shot Through the Heart. I made a Bon Jovi reference because we have a COVID shot conundrum that we have to talk about. And by we, this week, I mean Adam Carlson and I. What's up, man?
Not too much for me, but boy, has Viking Central been rocking today.
Yeah, it's this is going to tear a lot of people apart. And I know, especially from where I grew up, there's a lot of people who don't believe in the shot. There are people that think you should take the shot, not to be selfish. There are people that say, hey, just maybe don't spread a virus around. And we will visit all of those. And on top of that, I don't want to call it negative news. I mean, it is what it is. Someone's going to get promoted, and we can talk about the effects.
Yeah, they've already taken care of the position it's filled.
Yep. I forget how do you say his last name? Paul Schrower? I have it right here. I just looked it up. So Rick Dennison is out as the Vikings offensive line and run game coordinator, which is pretty key. Not so much about the offensive line, but the run game coordinator, which has been very, very good. He refused COVID-19 vaccine. Minnesota is promoting assistant O-line coach Phil Rauscher, and they hired Auburn special teams analyst Ben Steele as an assistant, which is pretty cool. But this is not just Viking news. A Patriots assistant was let go today as well. This is a new NFL protocol. You don't apply this to the players because it doesn't apply to them, but all the coaches have to be vaccinated. So
yeah,
there's that. What's up, guys? I'm glad everybody joined in. Sorry we didn't put this out on notice. Adam and I were doing a horror movie review on his channels, which was pretty dope. We just did that. So we figured we would jump in and do some Viking news. But yeah, this is going to be very controversial this year. Adam and I were just talking before the show started. We'll do opinions a little bit later, but let's talk about the direct effect. The Vikings have a very good run game, and this could alter that potentially. I don't think that the scheme is really going to change. I still think they're going to run a lot of zone. They're going to utilize C.J. Ham when they can to block for Dalvin Cook because he is awesome. But anytime there's a coaching firing, I always wonder, is it going to be a huge shock? Now, this isn't offensive coordinator. This isn't head coach. This isn't D coordinator. So it's not.
Now, you've said firing a few times now. Are we confirmed that this is a firing?
Let me double check on that. Oh, no. I'll stand corrected. It says here, and I'm on the Daily Caller, so I have no idea. This was sent to me in a text message from my friends. It's Viking news. All my friends jump in and harass me.
All I've read is part ways.
Yeah, it says leaves the team after refusing to get the coronavirus. Vikings reportedly cut ties. Dennison has left the team. Okay.
Yeah, the wording, I don't believe it's fire. I have not seen that anywhere. And even if it was firing, Minnesota's an at-will state, and they've got, even if they were to let him go, I don't see it being a legal thing in Minnesota. I don't know how it is in other states. But I don't think there's any legal recourse for him.
Correct. And that's the weird thing about using the term firing. That says here, according to ESPN, he has left the team, but it's in a policy that all the coaches have to be. So is he retiring? Because if he's not going to get the vaccination, then he's not going to get a job in the NFL as a coach because this is mandatory.
Well, he could very easily find a role in college football if they don't institute some sort of rule like that. But this is the NFL protecting their investment. That's what they're doing. And you can't really blame them for wanting to do that. But also, people do have the right to not do things to their own body. And I'm not going to be one to sit here and chastise him for not getting a shot because I know people that don't. I have friends that won't.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I am vaccinated just because I don't want to spread the disease and I don't want to catch anything. And I'm not in good health, so I'm in that bracket where I've got to really be careful about what happens with my lungs and my breathing. So to me, it made sense for me to get it. Now, other people who may not be as confident in taking it, I get it. I do. But I don't know if this is any way relatable, but there are, 17 different shots or vaccines that you have to take in order to join the military, right?
Yeah, I can confirm that. When you go to basic training, at least for the Air Force back in 2007, when I went through basic training, I got stabbed like 5 times in one sitting. You literally roll your sleeves up, you walk through a line, there's people on each arm, and it's bam, 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 bam. So
they're not the only people that require vaccines to work. So this isn't
I have
really
to have
anything
it for TSA
new.
too. I work at the airport amongst a lot of travelers, and it was, hey, we're offering this to you. You should probably do this. So I get it. It's a lot
He
of
is
opinions on
entitled to his
this.
choice, and I do wish him the best in whatever he decides to do past this point. But yeah, this is gonna be a talking point for quite a while, and people are gonna point fingers, and it's gonna get kind of messy, and it's not gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, this is why are the Vikings always at the front of some of these things?
Why couldn't that Pats player be the first one to go today, and then we
Right?
just come right after it? Well, the good thing is I'm glad it wasn't, like a Zimmer or a Kubiak or anybody like that to have it. This is a smaller name. Now, us in the Viking community, we know who he is, but of course they would be the first one to come out to say that. I will say this though, and we'll talk about opinions on this and get to the thick of things shortly, but it says, as for players, the league can't mandate vaccines for them, but there will be harsh penalties for teams with an outbreak among unvaccinated players. And this is what's crucial, guys. This is going to happen at some point this season. It's going to. And if it doesn't, it'll be a miracle. But if a game is canceled because of an outbreak amongst unvaccinated players, that team will forfeit playoff implications and could be on the hook financially. So we're going to open up the floodgates. We are not going to turn this show into a political debate, but we are going to express opinions here. And You are correct. This is the league trying to protect their investment. Now, for me personally, I'm with both sides, and I can't state that enough that I'm not picking either one. I got vaccinated too, and I didn't want to. I did it very dumbly too, by the way. I got vaccinated like 2 weeks after I got COVID, which is a no-no. Don't do that, guys. I was ignorant. I had no idea. But I'm going to go to the more conservative side of it where people are like, oh, I don't know about that. None of these vaccines are approved by the FDA. That to me is fucking bananas that so many people are just going out and it's an experimental thing. That's wild to me. But on the complete flip side, a lot of people have died from this thing. You're in a contact sport, right? And let's take it from the management side. I'm taking all my emotion and personal opinion out of this. This is a business. And if the business wants to maintain a health and safety code, it's no different if you go to Walmart or the mom and pop shop and they say, hey, in our store, you're going to wear a mask because, we have someone that works here that has a health issue and you're not going to give it to them unknowingly, blah, blah, blah. They reserve the right to do that. And that's the beauty of this country. So that's where I'm at. I totally understand either side of, I want to protect myself. I don't want to get sick. I had COVID. It was awful. Or if you don't want the government or whoever telling you what to do, hey, I totally get that side too, man. I hate that it's such a decisive topic and there's all these axes going into this old school battle, but I get it. This is going to be a
the Vikings do have quite a few big profile players who won't be vaccinated and have publicly came out and said that they're not really interested in it. Kirk Cousins has been standoffish about it. Adam Thielen's wife on social media has said that they're not going to go about it. And recently, Alexander Madison posted that he's rocking with the coach and that they successfully had a full season last year with no no real problems. I'll disagree with that because there were games rescheduled and stuff moved all over the place and star players sitting. And of course, more importantly for the NFL, they didn't get revenue from people at stadiums buying merch and filling butts in seats. So let's call this what it is. It's the NFL trying to ensure their investment, and they want money from people in those seats, buying the merch, making everything. And teams should want this as well, because that means that they get more money to spend based on free agency. Salary cap will increase if the revenue goes up for the NFL, as we saw for this year when they didn't get that money. And it does all boil down to money on this. It is. You can call it a political line if you want, but these decisions aren't really as political as they are financial down the line. And we've got a lot of people in chat that are really just talking about this right now. We got Michael and Thomas and Aline and Clifford, and everybody's just hanging on. It's nice to see people talking about this in a nice fashion, to where we're not tearing each other's heads off and pointing fingers and getting angry, because that's not the way things get done. It's nice to not see a lot of the stuff that's going down, especially on Twitter right now.
And the news. Guys, just say it too, like, I'm going to swear here, so if you have kids, turn the volume down, but don't be shitty towards each other about this. And you guys are following, especially. There's no attacking. I haven't seen that once on the show, and I really love that. Michael, I have to echo your comments, man. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to get it. I thought, I would run the option of me being young enough and healthy-ish enough. But, with the line of work that I'm in, I don't know how many strangers are going to cough near me at the airport. It's my chances of getting it are probably skyrocketed. So I said, you know what? I'll jump on it. I haven't heard too many negative things about it at that time. So I get it. I totally get it. And if you don't want to do that, and you want to wait till the FDA approves it, or maybe you're one of those people like the Wild West that are just like, F it, I'm just never going to get it. Hey, man, that takes some balls. I don't know if it's ignorance or if it's wisdom, but that's your right. And I totally reserve the fact to appreciate both sides. Because it's such a weird dynamic, and it's such a weird dilemma, But Adam's right. All of this boils down to money. If you think they're doing this because they actually care about anyone, you're crazy. They don't. They want to make as much money possible because they saw revenue dip last year. It didn't spike. It went down, and they will not have that 2 years in a row. I promise you that.
It is weird, though, to think about how far this goes on the spectrum both ways. I mean, you've got Kirk Cousins, who at this point is a poster child for, if I die, I die. You've all seen that graphic when it came out. And then you've got Eric Kendricks, who's who's selling his paintings for COVID research and had his grandfather pass away from COVID. And it's just so strange to see such diverse opinions and thoughts and practices on a team when they all have to come together in the end anyway, on the football field or in the locker room or wherever they got to go. And they got to keep this civil, because NFL players, I know this might be a little bit of a shock, but some of them have some pretty big personalities.
Yeah, they might be full of themselves, appreciate themselves, might be hyping each other up. And you got to have that, to have that charisma and confidence on the field. But that's putting it lightly.
Yeah, so I was surprised to hear that the coaches require the vaccine when the players don't. It's a bit of a confusing issue to me.
Michael, I'm with you. God, I wish the airport would let us not do it. That's kind of what I complain about and bitch about in the line is why did I get the vaccine if I still have to diaper my face? But that's what they made us do. So I like my money and like getting paid. So I'll be doing the same thing, but I get it. And to Adam's point, this has been widely around the league since this started. Even going back to last year, like Michael Pierce, cannot wait to see him in a Viking uniform, what he brings to the table. People opted out last season, and now you got future Hall of Famers like DeAndre Hopkins coming in and being like, dude, I don't know if I want to play because I don't feel like I should get held responsible for this because it's my body. This is crazy how this spun around when the news came out of the forfeitures this past week and the emphasis on you will be punished if we find this out. And it's like, which is kind of crazy. I feel like lawsuits might come from this because how do you really point the blame on someone? Because you can't really say like, hey, this guy's not vaccinated. He's the reason we had an outbreak. It's like, well, no, vaccinated people have gotten COVID again too. So how do you really know? Because you can't pinpoint it down if that happens. But how wild would that be if like a 1 seed or something like that had to forfeit a game and they bumped down the seeding, or, you know, the Miami Dolphins are a fringe team and they miss out on week 17 and 18, most of their starters because there's an outbreak and they don't go to the playoffs. Like, yeah, that would be a horrible scenario for any team. God, I hope that doesn't happen to this one.
Well, last year we did see whole teams that had just been ravaged and complete units that couldn't have players, and they had to forfeit or not forfeit, but reschedule games, shift around schedules for inconveniences. The Steelers did kind of get boned in that whole thing. Their schedule became absolutely brutal when they had to reschedule games, and it just, I don't want to see that again. And I want to see stadiums full of fans. And I don't know what all that's going to take. But apparently it's a little bit too much for some folks. Or not enough for others. I don't know. But yeah, Alexander Madison recently came out and he posted on Twitter earlier today. He said, they act like we don't successfully play a whole season. Don't make no sense. I'm rocking with you 100%, coach. See, now the side taking is coming in to where you're going to have the vocal people that are going to be louder than the people that are actually making these decisions for themselves. And we all know Rick Dennison's going to land on his feet, whatever happens. If he wants to keep coaching, he'll find a job in the NCAA or another league, and he'll be able to work just fine doing whatever he's doing. No problem.
Absolutely.
But to have him be willing to step away from his job for this, and to have players like DeAndre Hopkins willing to step away from their job, it's a big message to send. It really is. I'm not sure what that message is because neither of them have really clarified what it is about this that makes it a tough decision for them. So far, we've just had people speculating about what it could be.
Let's also point out the hierarchy of talent and how that'll get you a following on either side. So we talked about this in the Purple People Pod chat between myself, Adam, and Kyle, and they named kind of like you would do like a fantasy football thing, or like how they pick Pro Bowls, like quarterback, wide receiver, running back. They listed people that are of high profile stars in the NFL, and Josh Allen was picked over Kirk Cousins, which Adam is not happy about. But think about that. You have a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. He's going in the damn Hall of Fame. He is a monster wide receiver. He's great, right? Josh Allen and Kirk Cousins. I forget the other names that were on there because
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen, yeah. You have all these star player names, and they're going to have a following behind them. Like you were talking about the divisiveness. You wonder how that splits up a locker room. Are there people that are really, and there's got to be, I mean, just by a sheer number of mathematics, there's got to be people that are super passionate about this on one side or the other. And there's probably a good medium chunk that are like me that are kind of like, fucking whatever, do your thing. I'll try to be safe, but I'm going to mind my business. But is this going to be a divisive point for a team and maybe cause a little internal struggle between the players, man? I wonder if an actual fight or argument would break out because of this, or if they just kind of say, hey, we're here, let's just come together and play ball.
I really hope that when the time comes to playing, that a lot of this will be put aside and they can focus on the game and all that. But how do you not have a little bit of concern about this when you're in the trenches and you're smashing your body up against other sweaty human beings and fluids are flying everywhere as you're smashing into each other? I mean, it's going to be, yeah. Because I don't think you can play football with a mask. I just don't see that.
Well, it's not going to stay on. I mean, it's going to get wrestled around, even if you got a helmet on.
Or if they got like Darth Vader breathing vents on there or something.
Oh my God. Well, you could do the whole face shield. I mean, that's kind of a thing you could do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I just don't want to be a part of putting an opinion to like jumping to be like, I'm going to die on this hill with this flag. It's like, I don't know about that one, man. Let's talk about
scrolling through Facebook and Twitter and seeing a lot of the comments from people on these issues is not only just heartbreaking, it's a bit distracting because people are just getting absolutely rude over all this. And I get being passionate. I absolutely get that. But damn, you know.
We've gotten too comfortable as a society. Adam and I were having a deep conversation before this started about various things, and people have gotten too comfortable being nasty to each other. It's a normal thing to do, and it's not cool. We'll never be, for that here. I said some rude, sarcastic things on the internet, but I've never went out to be like, you should die because you don't believe what I believe. It's like, it's a bit extremist, don't you think? That's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. But we got some positive stuff to talk about today, too.
I'm still on the negative train. Hold on. We got to talk about this because it's vaguely 10% related. It's in the same neighborhood, but it's on the other side of the block of the Vikings. Eric Kendrick's brother. Let's talk about him for a second because this was bullshit, and I want to talk about this. And the irony of star power and what good money will buy you. If you guys remember Michael Kendricks, he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He was lastly with the Seattle Seahawks. He was sentenced to 1 day in jail, 3 years probation, and 300 hours of community service for his 2018 guilty plea on insider trading. Insider trading, you ask? Well, let's talk about that. September 6, 2018, insider trading netted him $1.2 million. Could face up to 25 years in prison, but federal guidelines suggested he is more likely to be sentenced to 30 to 70 months. He got 1 day. I am thoroughly pissed off about this. I'm not happy at all. I don't think this is fair whatsoever. I'm not going to bring race into this because I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just want to say athletes have privilege. And if that were me that netted $1.2 million, my ass would be under the jail. You bet it. You know why? Because I can afford probably about an $8,000 lawyer. So
you can't afford an O.J. Simpson lawyer?
Oh, God. I wish, man. That glove does not fit. That's crazy. It's vaguely Vikings related, but I just want to throw in a bit of a hammer into this random conversation we had because I was baffled. I was like, that is bananas. He only got a day in jail. Now he's got to do his community service. I'm sure he's learned from his lesson, but they were still going to postpone his trial, and so they kept postponing out because he wanted to make a ton of money while he was still able to play football just in case, so he'd have a living afterwards. That's pretty crazy. But I just wanted to throw that out there for random NFL news because we don't have a lot to talk about. But as Adam was going to get to, we have almost breaking news. Now, it's not official, but if you've been following the show at all any point in this offseason, we've all been kind of lobbying for the free agent that we want to come back to Minnesota or come to Minnesota. Mine was Melvin Ingram. He signed with the Steelers, made that defense even better. But Adam has been lobbying for a guy who is currently visiting Minnesota. Adam, the floor is yours.
Yeah, if you read my work over on the Viking Age for past several months, I've been a strong proponent in bringing in Dede Westbrook. And the fact that he earlier posted on his Instagram that he was in Minneapolis, and then we saw the picture of him outside TCO. Yeah, he's getting a workout with Minnesota, and he is expected to sign with the team as long as the visit goes well. And, of course, might be a little tough for the visit to go extremely well, considering that a coach has left the situation and things are probably a little bit chaotic there with that shifting. But hopefully that it doesn't matter too much. And the coach that he really wants to work with is still in Minnesota. So fingers crossed that works out pretty well. But Dede Westbrook, I still feel like he's got the potential to be a very, very good wide receiver in this league and has proven it. He's had a couple 700-yard seasons in Jacksonville with nobody quarterbacks. He's coming off an injury. He's going to be dirt cheap. And now he's going to be playing for a quarterback that can actually throw to a spot on the field and lead a receiver a little bit. And if he can do that for Dede Westbrook, and Westbrook can catch a ball underneath, oh, this is going to be a fun offense to watch.
So his stats aren't going to jump off and mesmerize you, but they are better, far better than any wide receiver 3 or below on this team. And I'm not poo-pooing on the BC Johnsons of the world or the Chad Beebes that you also love and adore.
They play their role.
They do what they can. You know, they'll show up for at least one game a season and have like a, oh yeah, I like that guy. Like the Chad Beebe. You know, he had a Dumb and Dumber moment last year, and then he totally redeemed himself. It was awesome, but we need more at the wide receiver position. So drafted in 2017 by Jacksonville. First year, 27 receptions, 339 yards, and a touchdown. Respectable. Best year was in 2018, and I believe that's the year that they went to AFC Championship? Question mark. No,
sounds about right.
5 touchdowns, 717 yards, 66 receptions. Next year, 66 receptions again, 660 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Only 1 reception last year, like Adam said, due to an injury, he was out. But let's look at the track record going backwards of the timeline of quarterbacks. And sorry, I'm not taking a dig at your boy, Adam, but we have to mention him in there. Mike Glennon last year beat out Gardner Minshew, which is how? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
Gardner Minshew, Blake Bortles. Who else was down there? Was it just Blake most of those years?
I don't even know. It was a lot of nobodies.
It was terrible. That's why they have Trevor Lawrence now, because they've been bad for a very long time. I'm excited because Adam has made me excited about this guy, but I see on paper the potential there from a quarterback, whoever it was a lot less than Kirk. But what this will do with how crazy this offense in Minnesota could be is this could provide another Jarius Wright kind of role. And I'm going to always reference Jarius Wright because I need a third down clutch receiver. And he looks like the guy who could fit this bill. And God, let's hope everything went well today, because he posted on his Snapchat. He's not going to. That's the thing why I think that is so crazy about this. He must want to be here because of the wide receiver coach that came from Jacksonville, and he loves him. But he gets on a Snapchat and he's like, it's that time again. And he's showing TCO Center. I'm like, dude, if you're a businessman and you're just a free agent trying to get a home, you don't do that until after you sign. Get on Instagram. He checks into Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's like, I think the guy wants to be here. And Adam gets all the kudos because he's been calling this out for months. So
it's a fit that makes absolute sense. It has since the beginning. And the fact they've been able to wait so long means that this probably won't be a big investment financially, which makes it even more exciting. And if they can, it's probably going to be a 1-year deal if they do come to anything, because, of course, most players right now want that 1-year deal so they can get a bigger contract when the salary cap bounces back. And you can't blame them for that. You can't. They're just trying to live their livelihood and get paid, and I understand that. But if they could work out a 2-3 year deal, that'd be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing.
I'm sending Snapchats while we're on the show. I'm not professional at all.
Is that why your phone isn't in the screen there?
Yeah, all my friends are checking in. Some of my friends are. Shout out to my friend Matthew. He's one of the TSA guys like myself, but he's up in Minnesota, living the dream in God's country. And he's like, "What the hell, man? You shaved off all your Jason Momoa hair." I just started laughing. I'm like, "Dude, that's been gone for a while. I know you haven't been watching the show, Matt. What about it?" No, thank you for watching, for real. He's a Colts fan. We were talking about that yesterday. And that's a good transition. I'm going to rip this off because it's been done on a Viking show already. Shout out to Locked On Vikings. I don't mean to steal your content, but we are basing this off of an idea from the Seattle Kraken, NFL expansion team, NHL, excuse me. I heard this and I was like, man, this is a pretty easy one for me, but I would love to know. And if you're listening, because I still see 5 people watching now, I see more than 5 people in the comments. NFL's expansion team, we're making it into 33 teams now, and you only can protect 3 players on the current roster. Now, you have to take into consideration cap hits. Is money going to be an issue for you? What's the longevity? Are you going to do an old player and still reserve them, or what? And obviously star power. I'll let Adam go first, though. If you're the general manager of this team, who are the 3 Vikings that you are going to protect so nobody can scoop them up? Because I know we're going to differ on at least one of them.
Well, of course, the first player that you look at right now is you kind of do want to secure Justin Jefferson. You do. Just because he's so young, so dynamic. He's on his rookie contract. That's a player that you might be able to build around going forward if you lose another piece. So that's the one that I would pick with my pick.
Oh, you can give me all 3. I know. I
ain't giving you all 3 at first.
Okay. Well, Justin Jefferson was one of mine as well. Danielle Hunter, I'm going to keep him because he's an absolute unit, and he's still relatively young. Now, I am taking the risk factor here of the injury into consideration, but
true.
We have an offensive player. We go defense. A strong candidate for the defense is Eric Kendricks. I think a lot of people would go with him as well. But I like Danielle Hunter. And I saw what his absence did last year, and it made me miss him a lot. Ooh, here we go. There it is. This was a popular combination. Jets, Kendricks, and O'Neal. No Danielle Hunter. I like it, though. Brian O'Neal is going to be – he's going to be paid, guys. We're going to talk about that at some point in the future. He's going to get paid.
The one that's the toughest for me is I'd want to secure Dalvin Cook, but I don't know.
Those were my 3. In order, it was Justin Jefferson, Danielle Hunter, and Dalvin Cook. And I'll tell you why. And I just said this to someone. I think it was my buddy Matt that I just referenced here. But the Vikings without Dalvin Cook are like the Packers without Aaron Rodgers. I think the team can function, but they are vastly different. And the only thing selling me on keeping him protected is I have seen what the ceiling is for this kid, and it's the best in the league. It's right there beside McCaffrey. He's not as physical and not that same runner as Derrick Henry. But when you think of the 3-headed monster of the rushing attack of the NFL, it's McCaffrey, it's Henry, and it's Dalvin Cook. And this team...
I need to get a little bit more clarification. Which Smith's there, Mr. Buge?
I think he's referring to Harrison Smith.
See, I think he's not.
You think it's Irv?
I do, based on youth.
Okay.
Because Smith's in the last year of his contract. He's getting older. He probably only has another few seasons, if that. I don't know. I love Harrison Smith. I really do. But for the future that he has in Minnesota, the next couple seasons, he's talking about Harrison. All right.
I'm with you, Thomas, and people are not going to like this, but I have not seen nearly enough from Irv to be as excited as it is. Now, do I hope that he takes over? Absolutely. Was he kind of having to live in the we run first, Kyle Rudolph's the tight end number 1 shadow? Absolutely. I hope that he has a breakout season. Shit, I hope he gets 1,000 yards this year and 8 touchdowns, but I don't know that I've seen enough from him just yet that I would protect him. I.e., I think the Vikings could lose him. Now, I think he's a pivotal piece on the offense, but pass catching, we got a couple good guys there. We're about to have a third one in the wide receiver room.
I mean, Minnesota doesn't have anything at safety past this season, so...
Yeah. Although Xavier Woods is he's balling out this year, and I'm very excited to watch him under Zimmer's defense because when Patrick Peterson and your counterpart to the left or right of you is saying it, and Harrison Smith, and all the reporters that have seen him said, hey, this dude's lighting it up. So
yeah, Ben Hurney's working extremely hard, so that's always great to hear because one of the knocks that Cowboys fans always had was, Yeah, he's got a poor work ethic and all this. And it's like, in Minnesota, you don't so far. So, see about that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the players that are all pro or Pro Bowl in Minnesota are all having their contracts expire soon, are making a gross amount of money. Like Barr has been all pro and Pro Bowl, and he's gone after this year. And Harrison Smith's in the last year of his deal. Patrick Peterson only signed a 1-year deal. So, yeah, we got a lot of players that are going to be looking to want to re-up or find a big payday after this year. So this kind of has to feel a little bit like a chips all in kind of year. But I don't think that Minnesota is there because they do have these young, talented players that are still on the roster. Maybe it just feels like it's a boosted year of some sort, but it doesn't feel all in the way it did with the Rams when they just threw all their salary cap at a few players.
I think, and this is probably not popular opinion either, I think the Rams have a better roster than the Vikings. I don't think it's absurdly distant between each other. But I wouldn't do what they did just for one playoff win. I think the Vikings can win a playoff game with this roster and not have to go to salary cap and draft hell. They don't have a first-round draft pick for like 3 years.
Right.
And that's awful. And that division, that's the toughest division in the NFL, and you don't have first-round talent coming your way. Ugh. Now, you do have, in my opinion, the best corner and the best D tackle on your team, which is amazing.
And they finally have an answer at quarterback, which is nice.
Yeah, poor Jared Goff. Everybody's like, yeah, he sucks. Go ahead and get him out of here. I didn't think he was that bad, but
he was bad.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, that's weird. Matt Stafford's going to be a Ram this year.
Yeah,
we'll get to play
that division is scary. It's absolutely terrifying. The Vikings are taking out some really good teams this year, and I've seen some projections from experts that really think the Vikings are going to get absolutely just beat down this year. I've seen projections as low as 5 wins.
Oh, yeah. Which I don't understand that. If you have mostly everyone coming back on offense, who do we lose on offense? Who? Kyle Rudolph? And then you upgrade the line. It's definitely upgraded. Reef. Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you replaced Riley Reef with a question mark, so that's not always great.
I think the offense comes back intact, and if you look at it, and I have a great stat here to talk a little bit of crap to the Kirk Cousins haters out here, because it's just really odd to me. Let's go into my phone is just being ridiculous right now. Sorry, guys. Trying to find the stat here that I saved from the other morning because it said something about the offense being like top 5, and the quarterback rating in and of itself. There we go. Vikings overall passer rating was 6th best in the NFL in 2020 at 105.0. The Vikings overall defensive ranking via points allowed was 4th worst, 29.7 in the NFL during 2020. So. This is from Dustin Baker. He does a lot of Vikings news on Twitter. So it boggles my mind the vast majority of the offseason is spent arguing about the quarterback. Yeah, I don't get it either, man. I don't understand.
This Vikings roster, there aren't a lot of holes on it from a starting perspective. I mean, you still have special teams, which is question marks everywhere.
Yeah, that could be the kryptonite of this team this year.
But the defense, you have moderate to high level starters all over the place on defense. The only real question mark right now is the third linebacker and the defensive end opposite Hunter. Even if something happens and they've got to slide Thompson over and start that new DT, Chillin Richardson, that's fine.
What's up, Lee? If the press isn't saying rubbish about the Vikes, it doesn't feel normal. Hey, you know what? We like those years because those are the years that we show out and prove them wrong. Actually, it's like every year. We prove whatever is written wrong. So if it's positive and you're feeling Super Bowl worthy, get ready to be disappointed. But history dictates with Mike Zimmer, this will be a good year. So, I mean, I just don't know how. And if it is as bad as last year, he's going to be on the chopping block. But I don't understand how this team could be worse than last year because the offense was great. You're returning at pretty much everyone. The coordinator is the son of the guy who just left. And you, like you said, you have lots of experience coming in to help out that youth and depth. I mean, we're seeing it now, and we can talk about this because this is Viking news, and we haven't hit on it yet. But Michael Pierce played with the Ravens a couple years ago. He sat out last year because of COVID. He's got a calf injury, so he won't be starting training camp right away, but he shouldn't miss any time for the regular season. I said it in our chat between the boys here. I said, well, that Sheldon Richardson signing is looking better and better by the day, isn't it?
It really is.
That depth right there, that I am perfectly okay if Sheldon Richardson is a starting tackle on the defensive side of the ball. Is he going to blow you away and be an Aaron Donald? Nope. But he was still a wrecking ball in Cleveland last year.
I'd like to say hi to the Twitch bot that just chatted with us. Hi,
you guys want to be famous? Buy followers and viewers? There you go. Thanks for jumping in, Twitch bot. We love you.
Always appreciate the input.
But I hit on Cleveland, which I think is a mirror image of this team. I think that they have a couple of better overall spots in their roster. I think their running back room is the best in the NFL. But they run pretty much the same thing. Weird because their coach came from here. But Sheldon Richardson looked great last year. So happy that he's back. Relatively cheap too. But that, the depth on this team is my overall point from earlier. Is the depth is way more than it was last year. Zimmer was forced to rely on too much youth, and it showed hard, especially with the dynamic of the COVID season being, hey, we can't do anything in person. Good luck. That was a recipe for disaster. I don't think that that's going to be the same.
Yeah, the lack of a real training camp in preseason just absolutely gave the Vikings some really tough situations.
Oh, man.
Yeah, otherwise, up to this point, up to anything that broke today and more recently, it's been really, really quiet on the Vikings front. And it is that time of year, and I don't mind when things are a little quieter. It gives us a little bit more time. And sometimes we'll take a little extra time between shows if that happens. And I do want to thank you guys who hopped in and joined, because we had quite a few in it today. And despite the longer waits that we had between shows, it's good to know you guys still want to pop in and say hello and join in the discussion. So thank you.
We'll get Wes back in here when his work schedule lines up. We all three had stuff going on. My brother got married a couple weekends ago, so I was out of town. I got to spend time with my son. Was part of a beautiful wedding. So, but luckily, like Adam said, not a lot has been going on. That's why I lifted my fingers up and crossed them. Thank God, because if there's nothing going on and then the Vikings are in the news, it's negative, and we don't want any of that. So, nothing to hit the panic button on just yet. Training camp is starting next week, and we'll keep you posted on what we hear from there, and let's see how some of these young guns develop. I'm very excited about the right guard situation. I want to see Wyatt Davis beat out Dakota Dozier. I want to see
it as well.
I want to see, and hot take here, I mentioned Locked On Vikings earlier. Mr. Luke over there has been adamant about this, and I think he has a good point. I don't know if Christian Darrisaw starts week 1. I don't know if he's going to beat out Rashad Hill, and people might freak out about that, but it's not the worst case scenario. But I'm eager to see a couple of these rookies and see where they fit in.
Yeah, I don't want to just hand a job to a rookie. They've got to earn it.
Absolutely. And Mike Zimmer's not going to do that.
No. I do want to say that we should probably get rid of the movie icon in the top right corner.
Hey, there we go.
Because I forgot that we completely did that, and there it is.
Whoops. Overlay. How about we do that one? That's not it. Well, I can't do that at the current moment, so it's going to stay for this episode only.
And you know what? That's fine.
We can promote that now that we have stuff to promote. I mean, let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to be doing the third episode, the review of Fear Street Part 3. That's going to be coming up sometime soon, so watch the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel for that. That's on Twitch TV /MN Viking Zombie. You can go back on YouTube and you can catch the 2 previous episodes from the first 2 movies in that series. And after we're done with Fear Street, you know what? We'll probably end up doing some more horror movies because I'm having fun doing these breakdowns and reviews, and I want to do more of them.
Maybe Adam will let me choose one, but definitely what I saw a preview of yesterday. Shout out to my buddy Jake at work. We're actually going to go out and have some beers tonight. He's like, "Hey, have you ever seen The Evil Dead?" And I was like, "No, I have not." He goes, "Well, prepare yourself because it is nuts." And I got to see the first scene in that movie. So if you'd like to do an Evil Dead review, I'm going to watch that this weekend.
Which one?
The remake in 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's solid.
I would like to find something. You've probably already seen all the horror movies I've seen, but I'll try to find some of my favorites that aren't The Conjuring and do. Actually, I have a really good one in mind. I'll send it to you offline.
And I do love that so many horror movies are coming out. Like, I'd love to talk about the new Candyman.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I love Jordan Peele so much.
That looks good. Coleman Domingo is amazing. If you're not familiar with him as an actor, I think you're going to love him in that movie. But yeah, enough talking about the horror movies for our Vikings fans. But if you do enjoy them, please do check out those movie reviews over on my Twitch channel if you catch it live, or over on YouTube where we also do it live, but you can catch the past episodes if you miss them. I do my work over on the Viking Age. Should have an article or 2 coming out this weekend. Probably about a competition at some position, who knows. Those are always fun pieces to write because I enjoy trying to figure out who's doing what here. So those are excellent. And over on Undead Walking, I don't do as much over there as I used to. Probably only an article or 2 a month, but I still do publish some stuff over there, and I still do love The Walking Dead. So head on over there and give it a peek if you would, please.
Support our guys. We have to suggest some Thomas G's Antlers by Guillermo del Toro when it drops. Okay. I have no idea what this is.
Seen some previews for that, and I don't know what to think of it, but I'm interested.
I'll give Adam the shout out here for letting me do that because I'm very much enjoying these. I have always wanted to do that. Not that you guys care. I told Adam a couple times I've always wanted to do film review because I am at the movies literally every weekend. A matter of fact, I saw the worst movie of all time this weekend. If you guys want to completely waste 3 hours of your life and overspend for money and food and beverage at a movie theater right now, go see the new Fast and the Furious because it is dreadful. It is absolutely awful. But yeah, man, the autopsy of, I think it's Jane Doe, came out 2013-ish. It's wonderful. I love that movie. But check it out is where I'm getting at, guys. I'm trying to round this up so we can get off here. Support our guys' work here. Adam does great work on the Viking Age. If you want Viking news, there's a lot of great writers there. We went live on this Twitch channel here in the middle. Also, if you go to Purple People Podcasts, if you're on our YouTube right now, if you stay on YouTube and just put in Adam's stuff here at MN Viking Zombie, you can find our stuff there too in the movie reviews. You see the Undead Walking stuff. Check that out. If you're into The Walking Dead.
Follow, subscribe, like, bell, and man. Set those notifications. I'd appreciate all that if you could.
Wes isn't here, but we still love him to death, and we want you to give him some dollars. So if you want to buy some cool photography stuff, which shout out to him. He just won some stuff in his hometown in Iowa for his photography work. It's that good. Check out some of his shots here on Redbubble. You can also get Purple People Podcast merch if you like the show that much. We do it for
he is Phantasm Digital on Redbubble. Let's go over there, all one word. And if you don't want to type all that in, just head on over to our Facebook page, and I believe it's our pinned post, and you can go on and click that and do some great shopping.
You can get Purple People Pod gear. Every year we do the Survival League. I will buy the winner a hoodie or shirt of their choice in the size and color that they so choose. You can rep our stuff, and you get free gear.
Yeah, I have no idea what the winner got this year, so that was all up to the Kyles, and hopefully they sent some good stuff.
I did. I was late, but I did make on my promise there, so very happy about it. If you want to follow me, here's my stuff. I do music sometimes. There's dog stuff. It's mostly
Twitch.
just nonsense. Yeah, everything. NC Dog Dude.
Twitch. Is that your Twitter as well?
No, my Twitter is kind of blech. I've had that same handle forever, and I don't feel like starting over again.
Gotcha.
It's like Purple Scolger or something like that, which makes sense.
All right, we got one question here. Let's answer this, and then we'll call her a day. What do you say?
Yeah. Which 2021? What's up, Hobna? Thanks for asking. And I think we can answer this and go end the show on this. So this is kind of cool. Which 2021 drafted players do you think earn a starting spot? So I'm assuming you're saying for this season. We hit this up right before you joined. I believe if I had to put my money down right now, the best chance is going to be Wyatt Davis at right guard. Now he went in the third round. Adam can back me up on this. If he hadn't had a couple of knee injuries, this guy's a second first round talent. He is a machine at guard. He buries people. He puts them into the earth violently, and I love his game very, very much. I think he's got the best chance. Would I like to see Darisaw start at left tackle? I would love that. I would love that investment to show up right away. But if he doesn't, don't freak out. But my money's on Wyatt Davis, throwing people around like a rag doll.
Well, there's a lot of players that are going to get some shots, and there could be quite a few starters. Darisaw is, of course, a favorite to win out and get that left tackle position, although it hasn't happened, and they haven't announced any sort of special starting for him. I think most fans are expecting that to happen, so that's one there at least. Wyatt Davis expected to win that job at right guard. That could be something as well that just is a fantastic way for him to join in and just take over right there. I think Chaz Surratt has a decent chance of winning that third linebacker spot if he comes out and impresses and shows the speed the way he can from sideline to sideline. And if you can be a solid tackler and a thumper, I think that'll work out all right. Patrick Jones has just as good of a chance as any of winning that defensive end job because it's wide open right now, and he is a bit of a freak when it comes to that kind of stuff. 2 starting return jobs could go to rookies with the running back Kiki out of Iowa State and Smith Marset, the wide receiver, each taking one of those jobs. So each of them could be starters. This could be a year that we see, 5 starters as rookies?
Yeah, and you know what? That's a shame on me for being a fan and not thinking of
maybe
special
6
teams. Yeah. Who was it last year? It was your guy from Miami that didn't do so well. KJ Osborne.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kick return gig is definitely open. The guard spot, left tackle they drafted in the first round, obviously has a good chance. That's not poo-pooing on Rashad Hill, as we were talking about earlier.
No, I like Rashad Hill. I like him as a backup rotational guy.
Absolutely. He's a great backup. He's a great fill-in guy when you need it, but I would love to see Darisaw start. I think, you mentioned Patrick Jones, and I'm really excited about that kid. We're hearing a lot of good stuff about him and the potential of things, which let's lay it on the table. He might not be the same physical freak because I don't really know. I haven't done that research on him, but this sounds like another Daniil situation we could have. And I like the Vikings defensive end drafts in the third round as of late. So
they've been pretty good.
I like it. Hopefully that answers your question, Hobna. Thank you for asking.
Now, out of those potential 6, how many do I think we'll start? I think Smith Marset will probably get the punt return job, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Either him or Kiki. Wyatt Davis and Darisaw. So let's go with, I'm going to say 4.
It's a lot. I forgot about the special teams part, so that's cool. I like it. That would be wild if Chaz Surratt starts at linebacker. Holy crap. That dude was a quarterback.
Undrafted free agent rookie kicker. Who knows? Maybe he'll get a start too, but that's scarier than anything right now is not having a kicker that can be just
This is such a Viking thing to do. We're just gonna kick some dirt on it and be like, it's gonna be fine. We're not gonna talk about it. We have no idea about the kicker situation.
No, special teams, I mean, I want to write about special teams, but I don't even know what to write about because I don't know anything. Like, it's all just big question marks and speculation, and there's no facts to base things around right now. It's really a mess. It really is. But we're going on an hour talking about two major topics and catching everything up. So I think that's going to be it for now. Thank you, Hobna, for that conversation. We really enjoy answering questions, even if we might not know a lot about it, but fingers crossed. And I hope you guys had a good time too. Tell your friends to join on in the conversation. And next time when we're live and it's all a lot of fun, you can catch the full catalog of shows over on YouTube if you miss one. Also, usually I'd say 3 most recent shows or so will usually be up on wherever you find podcasts, whether it's Spotify or Podomatic, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, whatever you use. We're usually around. And otherwise, you can chat with us on social media. Usually the best way to get a hold of us is on our individual personal Twitter accounts. For me, I don't know what the best way to get a hold of Mr. Smith is, but probably
Instagram.
email.
Shoot me a DM on Instagram. NC Dog Dude.
Or it's OnlyFans, either way.
Hey, it's really cheap. Hit me up on the side for my hand pictures.
Smith feet pics.
Gross.
Gross. But yeah, on that note, I think that's about it. Thanks again for stopping by, and remember to stay classy, Minnesota.